Well, hi there. I'm going to be taking on a new project that I've never done before. I've made lots of cutting boards in my life, but I have never inlaid anything. And I'm going to inlay one each of these H's into 3 different cutting boards. The wood right here is called Purple Heart. It's a good hardwood and it's very good for use in a lot of cutting boards. It's a 1/4 inch thick material, 4 inches tall. The letters are 3.5 inches tall, so I'm going to cut those out and get them in a rough shape, and then I will finish them up and get them where I want them. And then I'll take the letters and I'll lay them on top of the cutting boards. I'll trace them in, and then I will route inside the cutting board, not quite the full 1/4 inch depth, so that way I can glue and set these all the way down in the bottom, get them set where they're not going to move around, and then I'll come back and I'll sand the surface of the cutting board flush, and then we'll have a good solid sealed up joints. We don't have to worry about food contamination or anything like that. So if you'll hang on, I'll be right back and we'll get started on this. I just want to give you a quick picture of the 4 cutting boards that I have glued up. This is number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. And again, like I said, 3 of them are going to have the H's inlaid into them. The other one will not. And they're all cherry and maple. And they've been in the clamps now for about 4 hours, maybe 5. I typically leave my cutting boards glued up for 24 hours. So I'll pull these out in the morning from the clamps, and then we'll continue on with making the rest of the cutting board. So hang on, I'll be right back. Okay, because this Purple Heart is not the most expensive wood, but it's not the cheapest wood to buy, I'm going to cut as close to these letters as I can, salvage the maximum amount I can off of each board, and then we'll start cutting each letter out, and then we'll work on each one separately. So here we go. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to cut each letter out separately, and then I'll come back and work each one by itself. So here we go. All right, there's you one rough cut, letter H. And this is the point in my woodworking career where I wished I had invested in a scroll saw. But anyway, I'm going to cut the other 2 out the same way, and then what my plans are is to come back on my router table and trim these up as best I can, and then I'll do some hand filing and some hand sanding and working with some chisels and get down to where I really want to get with it. So I'm not going to bore you with cutting out the other 2. When I come back, we'll be finishing up the letters on the router table, and then maybe coming back and I'll film up some of the handwork. So I'll be right back. Well, second thoughts, I got to thinking about it, and using my router table and one of my spiral upcut bits was not a smart move, because if that bit, my hands are awful close to it and it's just going to pull me right into it. So I said, you know what, use double-sided tape, stick it down, and use your router. So that's my plan, so I'm going to get after it. So here we go. I'm gonna tell you something. Purple Heart is considered a hardwood for a very good reason. This stuff is harder to carve than oak. That is a hard wood. Wow. File that piece of information in your bucket. Keep it for later on. That is a hard wood to carve. Whew, man. I'm telling you, I'd rather carve oak. And I love carving oak. It's hard. But man, this stuff is hard to carve. Let me blow it off. Hang on a second. All right, I can see I've got some trimming to do. Got a little bit right in here to trim up. And I'm telling you, and a little bit down here. But I can tell you right now, I'm very glad that I didn't attempt to do this freehanding on my router table. I could see right now I would have been missing some fingers. Whew. I've never carved anything like this stuff before. That is hard wood. Wow. All right, let me go ahead and try to trim up and clean up just a little bit around here and bring this into a better design. And all right, here we go. Turn the lights back on. Okay. All right, let me see if I can get this set up there for you. Make sure that's in frame. That is by far the hardest wood I have ever carved. That is hard wood. Oh man. Anyway, okay. One down, two more to go. I'm not going to film those. I'll be back. On the Janka scale, it is a 2500 rating, and oak has a 1200 rating. And prior to this, oak was the hardest I had ever carved. I didn't mind carving oak. It's hard, but I kind of enjoyed it. I got to say I didn't really enjoy this. It was a challenge, and I'm glad I did it. I won't say I won't do it again, but I will say this. Next project, price goes up. It sands good on the face of the board. It sands real nice and smooth and responds real well. But the edges does not respond, the face grain does not respond to sanding real well. So I have actually been using some small files that I've got to knock the burrs off and kind of clean it up and stuff. And I've got a Dremel. And I've got some diamond bits, and I'm going to use some of those diamond bits and kind of dress things up a little bit and try to finesse some of the cuts that I've made and try to get them dressed up a little bit and see if I can't make that work out better. But by all means, this is, without a doubt, the hardest material I have ever carved. Challenged myself to do it, and I'm glad I did. It's definitely way out of your comfort zone, but hey, it's worth it. You learn something, so never stop learning. So this is going to be a wrap for tonight. I haven't even named this project. This is just 3 cutting boards that I'm doing. I don't know that I'm going to actually throw it a name out there, but I'll be back tomorrow when I take the cutting boards out and get them dressed up and cleaned up, and then I will get these laid out on each board, and then I will cut the route out what I need to cut to drop these in and get them glued in position. And like I said, I'll stop just shy of the full depth so that these sit up a little bit proud on the face of the cutting boards. Then I can come back and sand the letters down smooth with the face of the cutting board, and it'll be nice smooth, and we'll have it all good and sealed up, won't be any worries about food contamination getting into the glue joints. So I will see y'all tomorrow. So thanks a bunch. Don't forget to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the bell icon so you get notified each time I post a video. And if you would, please share my channel and my videos with your family and friends. I'd really appreciate it. So I'll see you tomorrow when I come back and get to work on these cutting boards. Thanks.